Washington State, Member of Congress, Democrat Adam Smith. Florida, Member of Congress, Republican Mike Haridopolos. It's good to have you both. So first, anybody think it ends tomorrow?
No.
No? No, you either?
I hope so, but
Mike?
we'll have to see tomorrow. I'm here.
Adam, first of all, any questions with my analysis?
No, I think that's spot on.
Anything I said piss you off?
It points up one big point, and that is how President Trump is running this government in an unprecedented partisan consolidation of power way. And that's one of the big issues for us in terms of opening up the government. So we vote to continue funding the government. Trump ignores it. I mean, he was cutting programs and firing people that had been appropriated by Congress long before this government shutdown in violation of the law. So why would we vote for another budget so he can just ignore whatever we vote for? So it's one of the big issues.
Because it's your job.
Why the shutdowns happen.
Because it's your job, Adam. Your job is to pass budgets.
No. It is not my job to vote to allow Donald Trump to continue to abuse his power in the way he runs the federal government. That is not my job. I don't have to vote yes on something. I get to choose whether a yes or a no vote is in the best interest of my constituents. That's my job.
Yes. However, are you suggesting that your job is to not act?
I am suggesting that it is my job in this instance, and there's a bunch of other issues here. But one big issue is on how President Trump has chosen to ignore the law when it comes to spending money, and specifically to punish constituents who don't support him. Forget whether or not it's a policy issue. He's making it very clear. He is going to use his power as president to leverage your vote and not pay attention to the appropriations bills that are passed. He's done it over and over and over again. So if I, as a member of Congress, then vote for those appropriations bills to simply give Trump the ability to once again ignore it without changing the law, which we can do and which is in the Democratic proposal, to change the law to restrict President Trump's ability to do that, I think that's the right vote. And I stand by
Mike,
that.
I know, Mike, a little bit of it is whataboutism, but if you change the R and the Ds and they put out on government websites and they put out as the default email signature, Republicans suck. That's why this is happening right now. You guys would have gone crazy, but not a peep about the Trump administration doing this. And I know it's not the biggest violation of the Hatch Act you've ever heard of, but you've also never seen anybody blatantly put out messaging on government websites and emails the way they're doing right now. Fair point?
Well, yeah, it's one of the things that it's a sideline issue. I think Adam and I would agree the best thing for the United States, I hope, is to keep the government open. The people who are the victims of this whole situation are not politicians. They're the people who rely on government services. They're government workers that are now furloughed. And as you know, we talked about it last week, Chris. We in the House of Representatives, we passed the budget. We sent it over to the Senate. And given the history of Chuck Schumer, who said that shutting down the government is idiocy, he's the only one at this point really shutting down the government. I think we should negotiate on a lot of things, including health care, as we move forward. But at this point, let's keep the government open. The House voted to do so. Of course, the Democrats, with the exception of one, voted to close down the government. I don't think that's a good idea. As you and I talked about before again, Chris, the idea is how do we keep some economic momentum going by shutting down the government? It costs a lot of money to close. It costs a lot of money to open back up. It's just politics.
Same way when you guys,
I got back
same
in
way,
politics.
Mike, when you guys did it. Same, but Republicans have done the same thing. So the
Chris,
idea,
I can't speak what happened. I can't speak what happened.
No, I
in the
know,
past.
Mike.
I'm a new
not
member,
asking you to own it. I'm just saying
we're looking forward on this. Yeah.
I get it. I get it. But as a new member, this is my question to you, okay? I understand why you don't want to answer the first question that I asked you. I get it. I understand the dynamic. However, this show is a little different. These are violations of the Hatch Act, okay? It is a bad look to use government resources to push political propaganda. Do you not agree with that statement?
Well, I think without doubt that we've seen this weaponization happen before. I'm sure if I did a little bit of homework tonight, I can find some examples.
Mike,
but
never,
to your point tonight,
never an automated message on emails, never saying the radical right on a government website. I'm telling you, we did the homework. And I get why you don't want to say anything, Mike, but don't you think that's part of the problem, that you're afraid to say what you would absolutely say if you switch the R and the D?
Well, I think Adam's done enough talking on that one. But and my sense is let's open the government back up. It's that easy. It's that easy.
I get it.
Well,
Adam,
Chris,
let me ask you something. Do you?
Sure.
You can respond to that, but I also want to. You heard me off the top. I think you guys are right in fighting the right fight. I don't think switching the name of the bill makes the reality of the bill any different. I'm okay with people getting tax cuts. That's fine. That's your guys' choices. It's the president's choice. But don't call it a middle-class tax cut if they're not who benefits most from the bill and you're paying for it off their backs. I think that's the right fight for you guys to have. But I think this shutdown suckered you guys in, and that's why he's now able to do all of these sneaky things that he's doing.
No, first of all, Chris, two big points. One, he's been doing these sneaky things ever since he got sworn in. I mean, how many executive orders did he sign on the very first day? The notion that somehow the shutdown has unleashed all these bad things that President Trump is doing. How many hundreds of thousands of federal employees has he fired? How many hundreds of billions of dollars in appropriated programs has he frozen or shut down? Shut down the Department of Education, shut down USAID, fired countless people at the Department of Defense because they weren't personally loyal enough to him, used the Justice Department to pursue his political enemies while pardoning all of his political friends. I mean, come on. He's been doing this for 9 months, all right? We weren't suckered into anything. He started it from the moment that he got elected and moved it in that direction. So that's number one. Number two, here's the reality of the situation. Because of the Senate rules, the Republicans, for the first time this whole year, need Democratic votes to move forward with their agenda.
To get it done.
We're supposed to just say, oh, gosh, if you need our votes, even though you're not going to negotiate with us, you're not going to give us anything, Trump is going to continue to run the government, as you just showed, in the most partisan, political, personal power grab way in the history of this country. Yeah, okay, we'll vote for that because it's inconvenient not to.
No, listen, I get it. No, I'm not asking you to do that. I am asking this, though, Adam.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what is reasonable. Yes, they're playing games with illegal versus lawful and who gets what service.